Sarah had a sixth sense since childhood. Every night, vengeful spirits would appear beside her, telling stories of their tragic deaths. At first, Sarah was terrified after hearing these tales, but once she grew accustomed to the fear, she began turning these spirits' tragic experiences into horror comics. Surprisingly, her horror comics gained recognition and love from a wide audience of readers. She quickly became a famous comic artist. One day, editor Chris received a comic from the girl, Sarah. The scenes in it felt eerily familiar. The comic featured a mother with a disfigured face. Because of her appearance, her daughter was isolated, bullied, and mocked everywhere. The daughter grew to hate her mother intensely. She wrote cruel words on their family portrait. When the mother saw this, to avoid burdening her daughter further, she chose to kill herself. Her daughter witnessed the act, but didn't try to save her. Instead, she turned away and let her mother die slowly with a painful death. Chris was that daughter in the comic. After seeing this scene, she couldn't calm her racing heart. She immediately called Sarah, demanding to know how she knew about her mother's death years ago. Just then, the lights suddenly went out. Chris quickly grabbed a kitchen knife for protection. Her movements eerily mirrored what was playing on her computer screen. Suddenly, she heard her mother's wailing behind her. No matter how hard she tried, the comic's ending was already predetermined. The next morning, Chris's body was discovered. After checking surveillance footage, police found no evidence of another person present. They ultimately ruled out homicide. When people saw her computer, they were shocked. The editor's death matched the comic perfectly. This made the comic artist become the prime suspect. Police suspected she might be using the editor's death to promote her work. But after investigation, they discovered that all these scenes came from her dreams, because she frequently dreamed of vengeful spirits, and her dreams were incredibly vivid. Then, she also mysteriously notices scars on her hand, so she had consulted a psychologist. The doctor told her she was diagnosed with a strange syndrome. Simply put, she became so immersed in her work that she couldn't distinguish between dreams and reality. Many artists actually experience this condition. Since she wasn't the killer, who could it be? She claimed the comic was purely fictional, and without concrete evidence, the police had to drop the case. After they left, Sarah opened the next document, another new comic. The scene shifted to a truck where the driver was a dead body collector. That night, he received a big job. The client was an electrocuted corpse that had become stiff. Despite having seen countless dead bodies, the collector was at a loss when faced with this particular corpse. He took a swig of alcohol to build courage, preparing to forcibly straighten out the curled-up body. Unexpectedly, when he looked back, the body had turned over. This terrified him. After, when he was looking back again, the corpse had even opened its eyes. The body collector was scared to death. He quickly covered the corpse's eyes with a white cloth. Just then, his iPad lit up, automatically playing a comic about him. This horror movie is called Killer Toon. Share this with your beloved ones, so we all were not able to go to sleep after watching this.